So welcome to part 2. In this video we're going to take it on a step because in the last video you saw that you could find out which group the median belonged to. But what we can actually do is we can use a cumulative frequency curve to make a better estimate and actually find a value, an actual height that we think would be the median height. Now it's only going to be an estimate, okay, because we're talking about grouping things and we don't know the exact data. So only going to be estimates, but here's what we need to do. We need to draw a cumulative frequency curve, okay? Now what you always do when you do a cumulative frequency curve is you do the upper bound as your x-axis against cumulative frequency as your y-axis, okay? You're never ever going to use midpoints and you're certainly not going to use lower bounds, okay? So it should be 130, 15. So let's just do it the best I can. You will obviously, is that 130? Oh no. Just trying to figure out the scale that they've used here. So that's 140, 150, 160, 170. They've not done it very well. That should be 130 there, I believe, and 120 should be somewhere like this. So they've made a pretty useless scale, I have to say. But let's just do our best with it. So I'm going to say this is hold on a second. This is 120, this is 130, and then it sort of begins to make bit of sense. It's more like here, isn't it? Okay. Well, this would be 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Okay, sorry, no, they were right. My eyes are just deceiving me. Okay, so it's about that. So we're going to plot 130 against 15. That's about here. Okay, 140 against 54. That's about here. 150 against 82. 150 against 82 would be about there. 160 against 93. About there, and 100 against 170 against 100. Okay, be about there. Okay, now what you need to do, once you've plotted those points, you need to do a smooth curve. You will not use a ruler, you'll do a smooth curve and it will look something like this. It always has this kind of distinctive S shape. Okay? Now, once we know what the cumulative frequency curve looks like, we can start to use the cumulative frequency curve to start making some estimates. So it says estimate the number of people at least 145 meters tall. So what you need to do, guys, and you must do this, so many students are just so lazy and they don't do this, you must put in lines using a ruler. So go to 145 centimeters and then use a ruler and draw a line up to your curve, and then draw a line across. And that seems to come to about 71. Okay? So we think, estimate the number of people at least 145 centimetres tall. Now you've got to be really careful. What this value is telling me is that 71 people are less than 145 centimetres tall. So the number of people we think that are more than 145 centimetres tall must be 100 minus 71, which is 29 people. And of course, if you said 70 or 72, you probably get the right answer as well, because your cumulative frequency curve won't be perfect. Okay? Estimate the median height. Well, the median height is the 50th person. So we're going to read off 50 in the cumulative frequency this time, and then read off what we've got. I think that's 139. So the median height is 139 centimetres. Okay? Right, now it says find the interquartile range. So interquartile range is the upper quartile minus the lower quartile. Quarters. So the median is 50%, halfway. Then the lower quartile is a quarter of the way, 25%. So 25% of 100 is 25. So read off from 25. What value have we got? I think that's 1, 2, 3, 4. I think that's about 133. So the lower quartile, 133. Upper quartile is 75%, 3/4. Okay? So again, we're going to use a ruler and we're going to draw off from 75. Read off that value. I think that is going to be about 148. Obviously, you'll be able to do it precisely in an exam. So the interquartile range is 148 minus 33, so it's about 15 centimetres. Remember, the range is the biggest value minus the smallest value. So the interquartile range is the value at Q3 minus the value at Q1. You can even work out interpercentile ranges. So maybe you want the percentile range between 60% and 30%. Well, that should be easy. Just find 60% value. Read it off. 60% of 100 is 60. Find the 30% value because 30% of 100 is 30. Find out what these two values are and subtract them from each other. That will give you an interpercentile range. Okay? So, let's just check some understanding. Here we've got a cumulative frequency graph, which would be the correct point to plot for the highlighted row. Now remember, you've got cumulative frequency here already. This is not frequency. So you're always going to do the upper point against cumulative frequency. So 130 against 7, the answer is C. Okay? Right, stop your video and have a go at these questions here. Please take the time to draw these out on paper. Make an axis in your book, draw it out on paper, and see if you can do it properly, okay? Okay, here we go. It's roughly what your graph should look like. Their graph is not great. It should be sort of smoother if you can. It's very hard. So you can see that actually would have changed some of the answers, but you're allowed answers within a certain range, and you don't have to get exactly the same answers. And so 45 people spent less than 24 minutes travelling to work. Okay, have a go at this question here, guys. Stop your video. Okay, cumulative frequency curve would look like this. Sorry, cumulative frequency table would look like this. Okay, draw a cumulative frequency graph for this information. Okay, would look something like this. And then use your graph, see how they're putting the lines in to estimate the number of people who took more than 35 seconds to swim one length, and they're saying 25. Okay? Because we're saying more than. So it's these people here between 40 and 15. So the answer is... Oh, sorry guys. The answer is... 25. Okay. Right, stop your video and have a go. Okay, median should be 67.5 miles an hour. There were 400 motorists by the look of it, so you should have gone for 200, and then you should read off. So about 67.5. Of course, if you put an answer probably between 66 and 69, they probably would have given you the right answer. Estimate the interquartile range. So we need the upper quartile, which is 75% of 400 is 300. So read that off, and then 25% of 400 is 100. Read that off. So I'm thinking, what's that? That's about 73 and that's about 62. It's going to be about 11. Let's see what they say. Okay, they say 11.5. I'll get the right marks because they probably would have accepted something between 10 and 13. Just got to use the graph correctly. Okay? Okay, again, stop your video and have a go yourself. Okay, here's the answers. Oops. Okay, so that's the cumulative frequencies. The graph would look like this, and look at the lines they've drawn to help them find out the interquartile range, which is 1 kilogram. Okay, 1 kilogram. 4.8 minus 3.8 is 1, and a median of 4.3. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. We can use cumulative frequency curves to estimate the median of data. So you should be able to now estimate the mean, and you should be able to estimate the median using a cumulative frequency curve. And the cumulative frequency curve can help you find out all sorts of other things, such as interquartile range or any other type of question. Okay? Let me know if any of that is confusing.